Hello and welcome. You're watching Newscenter and I'm Parikshit Luthra. It's a setback for the CBI and the government. The Interpol has withdrawn the red corner notice against Punjab National Bank scam accused Mehul Choksi, allowing him to fly across the globe as long as he doesn't set foot in India. The CBI has said the decision was taken on the basis of imaginary conjunctures and promised to exercise all options to get the red corner notice restored. So what are the options available before us? We will now be joined by two top former CBI officials. But first, here's a look at the latest developments in the Mehul Choksi saga. Abhishek Datta Roy and Abhimanyu Sharma bring us this report.
A willful defaulter wanted in India is now a free man outside of India's borders. Interpol's decision to withdraw the 2018 red corner notice against Mehul Choksi, one of the prime accused in the multi-crore Punjab National Bank scam, comes as an embarrassment for the CBI and the government. A red corner notice is a request to law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition, surrender or similar legal action. The word provisional is of utmost importance here. A red notice does not tantamount to an arrest warrant.
The impact of the RCN is that now basically the RCN is issued so that if he travels anywhere in the world, so it could be at the immigration, he will be stopped and handed over to India. Now this cannot happen. So except coming to India, now my client is free to travel all over the world.
So why was a red notice issued by Interpol in the first place? Choksi allegedly connived with the Punjab National Bank officials to get fraudulent letters of undertaking and foreign letters of credit issued to companies owned or controlled by him. Investigations later revealed that these transactions were being carried out since 2011 but were not recorded in the bank's core banking software. By the time the scam was unearthed and investigations got underway, Choksi had already fled the country. Later, it was revealed that he had been granted citizenship in Antigua and Barbuda. He had applied for citizenship in the Caribbean nation in May 2017, months before the PNB scam came to light.
Because of the kidnapping attempt on my client, and now it has been established by the Antigua police report, so international community takes it in bad taste that you cannot put a man homeless. He cannot come to India, and then when he has the Antiguan citizenship, you are not letting him live in peace there.
Sources say that Choksi's allegations that an attempt had been made to kidnap him from Antigua in May 2021 and repatriated to India may have gone against the CBI. The Interpol is yet to make an official comment on the matter. The opposition, however, is not holding back.
कि आज केंद्र सरकार नाकामयाब रही है कि जो लोग हैं जो भाग चुके हैं देश से उनको वापस देश में लाने नीरव मोदी हो, ललित मोदी हो, फिर आप देखिए विजय माल्या हो और अब मेहुल चोकसी हो, इनको पूरी तरीके से सीबीआई के केस में किसी तरीके का लूपहोल छोड़कर उनका बचाव किया जा रहा है और इसकी सिर्फ एकमात्र जिम्मेदार है केंद्र सरकार.
CBI in its response has said that the withdrawal of the red notice against Choksi is based on imaginary conjectures and the agency is going to make all-out efforts to ensure that the notice is restored. The agency has also said that even the Antiguan authorities consider that there was concealment of facts by Choksi while applying for Antiguan citizenship.
I don't think that this is possible now because ultimately now considering all this, now the RCN has been revoked because earlier also it was issued only at the request of CBI.
But for now, the latest chapter in the Mehul Choksi saga has left both the CBI and the government red-faced. With Abhishek Datta Roy and Abhimanyu Sharma in New Delhi, this is Shireen Bhan.
All right, let me now take this forward with Shantanu Sen, former Joint Director at the CBI, and N.R. Vasan, former Special Director at the CBI. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Mr. Vasan, if I can begin with you. 2018 and also in 2020, both these years, we had Mehul Choksi approaching the Commission for Control of Interpol files, a grouping of lawyers from across the world. And in both cases, his request for removal of the red corner notice had been turned down. What do you think were the new circumstances or the reasons which led to this removal of the red corner notice in 2022, November 2022, by the same body, Commission for Control of Interpol Files?
You see, Parikshit, one will not know definitely what were the reasons behind it till Interpol comes out, which I doubt that they will come out with the reasons. Those reasons may be communicated only to CBI, and these reasons may not be made public. So we will not know what were the reasons. But as the press reports which I have read, they say that it has something to do with the alleged kidnapping attempt. I don't know what kind of information was filed by Mehul Choksi's lawyers before the Interpol, and what information the Interpol has received from the country where he is now residing. Based on that, they must have analyzed and come to a conclusion that red notice could not be continued any longer. They will have a right to appeal, and they can bring in more material before the Interpol Commission so that red notice can be restored.
Right. Mr. Shantanu, if I can get you in at this point, tell us a bit about the Commission for Control of Interpol Files. Who are the lawyers which are a part of this organization? What is the locus? And what is the protocol for appeal now? Because the CBI has said in its very detailed statement that it will use all legal mechanisms to ensure that a red corner notice is issued once again.
For issuing a red corner notice, the CBI has to file material before the Interpol and tell them about the crime committed by the fugitive and that he is wanted. Red corner notice is not absolutely essential to get a fugitive back into our hands. There is always the extradition procedure available to us. There is no question of any lawyer's report. It is only a report sent by the investigating agency through its Interpol department to Interpol and Paris, or wherever the Interpol headquarters is now. It is shifted from Paris. So there is no question of the lawyer. It is the basis of material supplied by the CBI, the red corner notice we issued. And red corner notice is not absolutely essential to get a fugitive back into our hands. There is always the extradition procedure. Long ago, Dharmateja was arrested by CBI in the 60s, and there have been other arrests where red corner notice has not been issued. And where red corner notice has been issued, sometimes the Interpol headquarters has denied us the red corner notice, and still extradition has been possible. So it's only a department where we submit our reports to ensure that we get assistance from every state which is a member of the Red Corner, which is a member of the Interpol, in locating, tracing, and then he has to be extradited anyway. So that the extradition procedure will consider, and I challenge Mehul Choksi to fly to countries where whom we have extradition agreements. He will be arrested there, and the extradition procedure will begin. So his lawyer saying that he is free to travel anywhere part of the world is absolutely rubbish.
Right. So that is an important point. Mr. Vasan, coming to you, do you think it will be tougher now to get a red corner notice against Mehul Choksi from the Interpol? And at the same time, can Mehul Choksi use these grounds, use the order of the Interpol, removing the red corner notice against him in a court of law to challenge his extradition from Antigua to India?
See, as I understand, extradition proceedings are already in offing. So extradition proceedings are always independent of red notice against you. That is either based on the treaty between the two countries, and if we don't have treaty, then it's based on principle of reciprocity. Even if the red notice is there and somebody is detained or his whereabouts are intimated, then also the country will have to go through the extradition proceeding to get a fugitive back home. So yes, it will be difficult to get the red notice issued again, because we will have to bring cogent grounds. On what grounds? Cogent grounds against the issues raised by Mehul Choksi's advocates in the Interpol headquarters. The procedure is, the standing operating procedure is, when a red notice is issued against anybody, he has a freedom to approach Interpol, stating that a red notice has been issued against him without any legal ground, and he can bring his arguments, documents before the commission, And the commission then takes a decision whether the red notice will continue or it will be withdrawn. In this case, whatever the facts has been brought by him before the commission, the red notice has been withdrawn. But it's difficult to, it's not correct to say that he cannot be brought back to the country. He can be brought back to the country.
Right. Right. You're saying he can be brought back to the country and those extradition proceedings are pending. But coming to you, Mr. Sen, if we look at the CBI release, they say that based on mere imaginary conjunctures and unproven surmises, a 5-member CCF chamber has taken a decision on deletion of red notice communicated in November 2022. So it's almost been 3 to 4 months since this happened. It's only now that the CBI has come out in the open. Do you think we would have made any kind of headway, or the CBI would have used this period since November to get its legal strategy back again?
This is news to me, that this red corner notice was drawn in November 2022. It's a long time. And it's really strange that the CBI has not been able to restore it or even attempt to restore it. The fact it has become public now seems to have got the CBI to act. I don't know. But the point is that, as we have both explained, that the red corner notice is not absolutely sine qua non for getting hold of an accused. The extradition procedure is there. It is a matter of treaty or it is a matter of reciprocity. In fact, Dharmateja was extradited from the UK when we had no treaty with UK. And we have had this done with other countries also. So extradition is the main requirement. Locating the accused is already done. We know where he is and we will be watching his movements. And wherever he goes, we will present a case of arrest and extradition. And if the crime is a crime of duality, that is a crime that has occurred in India is also a crime in the country he is arrested, on our request, extradition procedure will immediately begin. But then you know extradition is not really fully legal. It is the government of the day who takes note, who decides finally when extradition will take place. There are many cases in UK today where the courts have decided on extradition, but the government is sitting on the files. Similarly, in America, I remember a case of a judge advocate general who was extradited by the courts, and since he was a Jew, he was not finally extradited by America and sent to Israel. So Israel extradition is not really a legal decision binding on the country from where the person has been arrested. So unless he is arrested, unless his extradition procedure is completed and the government agrees, the extradition is not possible.
Right.
Yes,
Mr.
you had a question?
Mr. Vasan, I believe, will join us in a bit. Yeah, Mr. Sen, I would like to ask you about the complexities that we are facing in getting back Mehul Choksi. There are 6 criminal cases against him that have been filed since 2018. We're awaiting his extradition. Give us a sense of the complexities in bringing him back. How hopeful are you of that, Mr. Sen?
Extradition takes time. It is that is always true for every country. It's not only true of India. I remember being told by a commander in Scotland Yard when we were going for extradition of those wanted for terrorist killings in Pune of General Vaidya and their actions in Udaipur and Maharashtra and Bombay bank lootings, that now you are going, even if you are successful in court, it will take time. And it took us 8 years to get them. So, I don't know. Extradition is a complex, detailed procedure. It takes time. It is not easy. Once a man goes out, it does take time. So, there is a complexity in the procedure itself, in the matter it is dealt with. But then the crime is a financial crime committed by Mehul Choksi, and the financial crimes have their own difficulties. Sometimes they are looked upon as contractual dealings bordering on civil crimes, and then the extradition fails. What we consider crime here may look like crime, may start as a crime. Extradition procedure may start because he has committed a crime. Then he is able to convince the court that it was a civil dealing with the bank, and what I owe is a bank is a debt, and I have committed no crime. So all that is there. It has taken time, as you've seen, both Neeraj Modi and Mehul Choksi and Lalit Modi, how long it has taken.
Right.
So possibly they have been successful in fighting the case and the delay is taking place. So let's hope. There's always hope.
Okay.
But then one cannot say it will be done immediately.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Shantanu Sen and Mr. N.R. Vasan for joining us here on CNBC-TV18, giving your view on the possible reasons why the red corner notice was dropped by an Interpol-affiliated body called the Commission for Control of Interpol Files. Let's see what the CBI does next. We're heading into a short break, but coming up on the other side, the centre and the Delhi government at loggerheads about the state's budget. After stalling the budget on the eve of the presentation, the Home Ministry has now waved the green flag. Details when we're back. Welcome back. You're watching Newscenter. The centre and the Delhi government continue to be at loggerheads, and this time the tussle is about the state's budget. After stalling the budget on the eve of the presentation, the Home Ministry has now waved the green flag. However, for the first time, a state budget could not be presented on time. Delhi's Finance Minister Kailash Gehlot claimed that the budget was sent to the Ministry of Home Affairs well in advance on the 10th of March. Meanwhile, the Home Ministry claimed that Delhi's Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena raised certain concerns of administrative nature on the proposed budget, and the Delhi government was asked to resubmit the budget, which it did not do on time. Rupashri Nanda is here with more on this. Rupashri, we've now got to know from the Ministry of Home Affairs that they have indeed approved the budget after getting clarifications, getting a reply from the Delhi government this morning. Were there any changes made at all? And what were the key issues of contention between the Delhi government and the Ministry of Home Affairs? Rupashri.
The AAP government in Delhi is finally ready to prepare its budget tomorrow in the floor of the House. And this after the Ministry of Home Affairs gave its approval to the budget. This information was confirmed by the Chief Minister on the floor of the House and also by sources in the Lieutenant Governor's office. While speaking in the floor of the House today, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal appealed to the Prime Minister to help him work and appealed for the cooperation of the Prime Minister, and in fact referred to himself as a younger brother who would help or who would cooperate with the Prime Minister only when the Prime Minister showers him with love and affection. He also had a message for the Prime Minister in the sense that he said that the Prime Minister or the BJP have to actually draw a bigger line in terms of achievements for Delhi if they have to win the heart of Delhiites and thereby win an election, and not by targeting the Kejriwal government over and over again. Remember, since yesterday actually there has been hectic activity over over Kejriwal's allegation that the MHA actually stopped the Kejriwal government from presenting the budget today as scheduled. Meanwhile, the BJP in the floor of the House demanded the resignation of the Finance Minister Kailash Gehlot and alleged and accused him of leaking the content of the budget ahead of its presentation in the floor of the House.
कानून के मुताबिक केंद्र सरकार को बजट के ऊपर टीका टिप्पणी करने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है। जो कुछ उन्होंने किया वो असंवैधानिक था, लेकिन जैसे मैंने कहा हमें लड़ना नहीं था उनसे, हम लड़ना नहीं चाहते। हमने उनकी ईगो सेटिस्फाई की, उन्होंने 4 पॉइंट्स लिख के भेजे थे, चारों के जवाब दिए और उन्होंने बजट को पास कर दिया। कल ही कर देते यार। खैर देर आए दुरुस्त आए। मुझे बेहद खुशी है कि कल बजट पास होगा, बजट पेश किया जाएगा और ये जो एक क्राइसिस आया था वो क्राइसिस अब खत्म हो गया, टल गया है।
जब 17 मार्च को आपके पास फाइल आ गई थी तो 3 दिन तक ये फाइल दबा के क्यों बैठे रहे? ये क्यों इंतजार करते रहे कि हम टीवी चैनल पर जाके बोलेंगे। विधानसभा सत्र चल रहा था, आपको जो बातें करनी थी विधानसभा सत्र में करते। और जिस गुंडागर्दी पर ये उतरे हैं, आज हमारे विधायक विजेंद्र गुप्ता ने प्रिविलेज मोशन लगाया, वित्त मंत्री ने बजट लीक किया है, तो स्पीकर जो कठपुतली स्पीकर हैं उन्होंने 1 साल के लिए उनको निष्कासित कर दिया कि अब 1 साल तक आएंगे नहीं। तो इस तरह से दिल्ली की विधानसभा नहीं चलेगी जैसे वो चलाना चाहते हैं।
Yes, the Delhi government budget will now be presented tomorrow. Let's move on and get you news from the Parliament. The Lok Sabha today passed a 1.18 lakh crore budget for the Union Territory of J&K by a voice vote amid opposition sloganeering demanding a JPC probe in the Adani Hindenburg matter. Shivani Bazaz joins us now. Shivani, what are the key highlights from the J&K budget?
The Jammu and Kashmir budget was passed by the Lok Sabha today along with the J&K appropriation bill. The total budget for FY24 stands at rupees 1,18,000 crore with the revenue expenditure of rupees 77,000 crore and capital expenditure of rupees 41,000 crore. The budget statement noted that J&K witnessed economic growth of 14.64% and tax revenue growth of 31% last year. The economy is expected to grow at 10% in the financial year. The budget also noted that the law and order situation in J&K has improved, and this year 1.88 crore tourists visited J&K. The state has also bagged the highest ever investment of rupees 1,547 crore in the last 10 months, with 500 new startups coming up in the last 3 years. A number of important projects like elevated light metro rail and implementation of Gati Shakti projects are in the pipeline in this financial year. The holistic agriculture development plan is also planned to be rolled out with 29 proposed projects at an outlay of rupees 5,000 crore over the next 5 years. The government is also looking to create additional job opportunities for over 2 lakh people in agriculture, horticulture and allied sectors.
All right. Thanks very much, Shivani, for joining us. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of News Center. News continues on CNBC-TV18. Stay tuned.